welcome to my presentation of my research project. So I am a math specialist with Forney ISD, and so I decided, because I don't have summers off, and none of us had classes this summer unless you were doing summer school, but I decided to think about what I do daily, and what I do daily is I work with math teachers. And so one of the issues that we've had is with the new math teaks. A lot of my teachers have felt very unprepared for what it is that they're teaching, and many of them actually switch grade levels. So I decided to do my research on the impact of math courses taken by teachers on the student STAAR performance. In other words, what I'm trying to see is if teachers took more math courses, did their students perform better on the STAAR test? All right. So here's my research question. Is there a correlation between the number of math courses taken by teachers and the success of their students as measured by the STAAR test score? I decided to use the STAAR score because I knew it would be valid information as soon as it came in, and that it was readily available to the teachers that I was soliciting to be part of my research. So what does research say? So education researchers and policymakers, they agree that there's a difference between quality of teachers across the nation. And so here's a short little clip from one of the researchers. Her name is Linda Darling Hammond. Oh, wait, maybe not. There we go. Hope you'll be able to hear this. I didn't think about that.
You've heard a lot about the concerns that many people have about being sure that we build a quality teaching force for all our kids in this country. One of the things that you've heard is an effort to, in part, to challenge the myths that circulate nationally, but especially inside the Beltway. The myths that teacher qualifications don't matter. You hear that a lot, that investments in professional learning don't work and are not needed. We especially hear that as cuts are going down at the moment. That equal outcomes can be achieved by testing without investing, that all we need is more accountability and testing, and that will do the job. And there's a theory of action that we can improve student achievement by eliminating expectations and support for teacher training, reducing standards for entry, and then firing those who later fail to improve student achievement. And I think the argument that you've heard from everyone speaking here is that these myths are not accurate and won't get us where we need to go. Beth earlier showed a slide which talked about how teacher qualifications can make a difference, and it presented a study from North Carolina, which was reinforced by another study in New York City recently, which showed that students achieve at higher levels and gain more achievement when their teachers have strong academic preparation, a strong academic background, are fully prepared when they enter, are certified in the field in which they teach, have 3 years of experience or more, and are national board certified.
So that was a short little clip that I wanted you to see, because that is some of the information that I've studied over and over again, is that the only way we're going to have quality math teachers is to be sure that they are prepared accurately and that they have the background knowledge that they need. And that is one of the areas that, I've been concerned about, is that we have a lot of people, and I'm sorry if this offends any of you, but we have a lot of people that are entering the field that are ALT certified, and by going through ALT certification, they miss the teacher preparation courses that those of us that have gone through a teacher ed course have gone through, that being like child psychology and content course and methodology courses. So as a matter of fact, in my office, where I said I'm a specialist, there are 7 of us, and 2 of us are we're education majors, and the rest of them are alt certs. And like I've said many times, they just don't know what they don't know. So that also, again, played into my interest for this research. Oops, she's gonna just keep going. So math achievement Goldhaber found that undergraduate or graduate math majors improved test scores. So what he said and what his study showed is that if people were math major or they studied undergraduate math, that they had more ability, more content knowledge, and were able to take the kids to a further level. And Monk found a positive correlation in the achievement when teachers had taken up to 5 math courses. Now, beyond 5 math courses, he didn't see any need. He didn't see any change. So I have another little short clip for you. So the reason I included that is because it has a lot of information in there. Hold on, let me stop it. Has a lot of information in there about, our future and being prepared, having our kids prepared for the future. Um, as an elementary certified person, I'm elementary certified, but I'm also math certified. And I think that's one of the things is that at one time in our education field, we had to have an area of concentration. And through my research, I found that many universities don't have that area of concentration anymore. What they've done is they've added a lot more classes on literacy and being able to teach to read, which is very appropriate because at the younger grade levels, we do have to concentrate on those ELA skills, ELAR skills. But I think what we've missed out on is being able to have a solid foundation in math. And so that's what prompted me to do my research. Oops, there we go. So our math teachers truly qualified. One of the things that I find as a specialist is that I have many teachers that get very frustrated because they just want to start at page 1 in a book and then go to the next page, the next chapter, because they feel very confident in following the procedures that are there in the book. But is that truly what we want for our math teachers? So what I've done for my research is that I got together, I did a 10 question survey. And the 10 question survey asked questions. It was geared towards teachers in 3rd through 6th grade because in my district, those are still in elementary. And because I could get STAAR data for those because they're tested grade levels. So the questions that I asked were, what grade level did you teach last year? The next one that I asked is, what was your undergraduate major? Followed by, how many math classes did you take as an undergraduate? Do you have an advanced or a graduate degree? If yes, did you take any math classes as part of your study? How many years since your last collegiate math class? In your opinion, does your math background impact your students' STAAR scores? And what is the greatest impact on your math strategies? And then I asked them to please provide the percent passage for the STAAR and the percent of students who scored at an advanced level. I did not ask them to identify themselves by name, nor did I ask them to identify their school district. I only asked them to use a three-letter identifier so that I could have ways to differentiate them. So I made a survey. I used Google Forms to make the survey. I collected the results using Google Sheets. I sent the survey to all of the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth grade teachers in my district. And because I knew it was summertime and some of them don't answer email, I also put a link on Twitter, put out there what I was doing, and asked if any Texas teachers would be interested in helping me out with that. And I also put it on Facebook. So I used three sources to get my data. The teachers in my district, those that responded on Twitter, and those that responded on Facebook. Now, with that being said, I have to take into consideration that some of the teachers or some of the people that responded might not be telling me the truth, but I have to go with the assumption that everybody that responded to the survey was telling me the truth. So what did I find? Well, the teachers that answered the survey, I got a pretty good balance of them. It was almost a quarter for each one. Sixth grade, third grade, fourth grade, and fifth grade. You can see by the colors what the respondents were. So I had more fourth grade teachers than any. But basically it was pretty even. So I felt that that was pretty accurate data. The count for the undergraduate majors, I thought this was very interesting. 39% were education majors. 26% classified themselves as interdisciplinary majors. 30% were business majors, and there was one English major. I did some research to find out about interdisciplinary studies. Some universities, that would be more what we would think of as like a liberal arts studies, like they didn't declare what they were doing until much further on in their education, and some of them just took general courses until it came to the end, and that's when they jumped in and got their certification. Some of them were just basically liberal arts, but the business ones, there was a variety. Excuse me. And there was a variety. There was business finance, there was business education, there was one business engineer, and there was one agricultural construction. But all of those were classified as business. The next thing I asked was the number of undergraduate math classes, and 56%, a little over 56%, had taken 4 or more math classes. And those in the survey were classified as courses that had the term math in their course name, or those that were taken at or in the math department. So I thought that that was a pretty large percentage, that 56% had taken 4 or more. The reason I say that is because, for example, Texas A&M Commerce, SMU, University of Texas at Arlington, all of them in their education program only required 2 math courses. One at SMU, one is in the math field, and then one is in the education field. And my person that I actually did my interview with, she works in that department, and she said it was very interesting because even though they were both math courses, there was not communication between the math department and the education department to see what was covered. And she felt her course was through the education department, and she felt that her course in one semester she had to cover K through 6 math in a short period of time, and so she felt it was very rushed. So that was the number of math courses that they took. The number of years since their last collegiate course, as you can see, the majority, it was more than 5 years. Does your math background impact your student STAAR score? Now remember, when I asked this question, this is just an opinion question, so I really wanted to get a feel of how the teachers felt about it. And as you can see, almost 50% felt that yes, their math background impacted. Now I didn't ask if it would negatively impacted or positively impacted, I just asked if it impacted. This was the next bit of data that I looked at. I did a correlation between how many math classes they had taken and their percent score that they provided for me. And what I was surprised to see is that there was no correlation at all. You can see that the one that scored the least, she had taken 4 or more math classes, along with one that had only taken 2 math classes had scored better. When I went down all the way to the bottom of the information, oops, sorry, jumping around a little. When I went even to the bottom of the information, what you would see is that the person that got 98%, they had only taken 2 math courses. Sorry about the jump around. The next thing that I looked at is how many math classes did they take as an undergraduate as compared to the advanced level. And once again, there's no correlation in here. That, those that had taken 4 math courses, they had nobody score at the advanced level. And then down at the lower levels, we had those that took 2 or 3. You did see that there seemed to be 4 or more at the bottom that had more kids score at the advanced level, which tends to lead you to think that they had more of a content background to be able to advance the advanced kids even further. But it didn't prove to be any correlation with either this case with their regular score or with their advanced score. So my conclusion is, as a result of my data collection, I found that there's no evidence in my sample, and I indicate that my sample, indicating that there's a correlation between the number of math courses taken by teachers while at the undergraduate or graduate level. And I also said that these results could be by an inadequate, due to an inadequate size of my sample. If the sample was larger, I may have seen more, but because my sample was limited, I really didn't see a correlation. And to be honest, that completely surprised me because I really thought that there would be a high incident of if you had more courses, your kids would have done better. So now what? Well, I'm going to continue to do professional development just like I do based on the STAAR data and the indicated areas of weakness. Usually when I do that, that gives the students more of a confidence level. But for future research, I'm going to look into the impact of ongoing professional development for teachers and the students' STAAR scores. And the reason I said that is because, and I'm going to flip back, I hope I can do it fast for you, because of this right here. We had teachers that said they hadn't taken a collegiate course in 5 or more years, but my then thought process went to, I wonder how many professional development courses they've been to. For example, I'm teaching 2 intense ones this summer, and I have several teachers that are attending all of them. And so their math background, even though they hadn't taken a collegiate course in 5 years, their math background is pretty solid because they have been engrossed in some really intense math instruction. So I hope you enjoyed my research, and if you have any questions, just let me know. Bye.